Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I have this yard machine by MTD with a 6-speed shift-on-the-go transmission. It has stick shift on the fender for neutral, reverse, and forward. It also has this lever on the dash for your parking brake and get the speed that you want. And the problem with this unit is that it keeps skipping or jumping out of gear. When I'm riding it, I'll have to hold this lever down. I will show you how I do the transmission transaxle repair. And the way I have to ride it now is that I have to hold this lever in first gear. If I don't, it'll jump out. If I go to push it in gear, you hear it grinding. I have to step on the brake, put it in gear, and then it'll go. If it's on a flat, it'll be okay. If it's going on a little bit of a recline, it'll jump out. So I'm pretty sure it's on the inside of this transmission where I have an issue. And once I remove the battery and jack this up, I'll show you what I have underneath. This could turn out to be a long video, so I'm going to video this in parts so you can skip to the part that you would like to view. Once I get this set up, I'll be back. All right, I have the wheels off and the tractor jacked up, and I'm looking to see what's involved here. This has a lever to engage the blades and another lever for the height of the blades. Looking this over, I found a few more issues, but that'll be another video. But to get this out, you have to remove, if I can get light on here. To get this out, we have to remove this belt. This belt's a little chewed up, so I'm going to order the belt while I'm working on this. And to get this out, this lever is in the way. But this lever is the one that puts the blades down. So what I did was to put some blocks under the deck to rest the deck on the blocks. I'm going to pull out this pin. When I pull out this pin, this lever should be able to lift up. Another thing I noticed, if you can see that nut on that pulley, that looks like it broke away. I'm not sure. That doesn't look right. I'll be able to see it better when I pull it out. So I have to remove that. Under here we have the brake, and I'm going to leave that on until I pull the transmission out. And that spring, that's up. I'm holding the light and the flashlight here. Excuse me for the jumping around. But this spring over here, I'm going to stretch this out and pull it off the brake. And let's see what we have underneath. This cable looks like we could leave it. Up here is the shift lever for neutral, forward, and reverse. Comes down here. And if you follow it, it's connected to the transmission. It's just held on with that cotter pin. So I'm going to pull this cotter pin out, disconnect this. This spring, I believe I could leave. If I have to take it off, I'll show you. And once I get that, it's just 4 bolts. 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. I don't see anything in here holding it up. Wait, I might be wrong. Here. No. Okay. A little bit more. We have these 2 bolts over here. These have to be removed. So I'm going to remove these 2 first, then the bolts that are holding the axle on. Once I have that done, that transmission should be able to pull right out. It doesn't look like it's that heavy, but what I'm going to do to play safe, again, I apologize for this jumping around. Normally I'd be working on this outside and I would have this hoisted up to a tree, but it's cold out today, it's damp, and I finally got some room in the garage to work. And I'd rather do it in here. Just that I can't lift that high in the garage. What I'm going to do before I loosen everything up is get 2 other jack stands and put them on the frame of this mower. And when I disconnect these bolts, these jack stands will be holding it up. Then I could just lower them down and pull it out without any difficulty. I just wanted to point this out. When I tried to remove the 2 bolts, I have one out already. Here's the other one. I just left it in so you can see the positioning. You can't get a ratchet in there. And I tried a couple different ratchets. I tried with a lower profile ratchet. I tried with the 1/8 ratchet with a swivel. Now, if you had an extension, the thin extension, that might work. It might fit in there. You're just gonna have to take it out with a wrench. And the way I got that spring out, that spring gets attached over here. The way I pulled it out, you know what? I have it all the way. When I put it back on, I'm going to show you how I put it on. And all I did was get a string around that spring. I had this old hook that I pulled it with. If you have one of those spring pullers for a trampoline, would work great for this, because you have the T-handle and you can pull back on it. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that issue underneath over there. So give yourself a couple of minutes, because you're going to have to use a wrench. Point of interest over here, I'm trying to hold the camera with my greasy hands without getting grease on the camera. Okay, see where that light's shining? I couldn't get that nut off to check that pulley, but to get the belt off, I just put a socket with a ratchet on it. When I pulled back, I was able to pull it back to get the belt off, but this pulley's fine. I don't know why it looks like that. Just might be a boss in there, I'm not sure. But it spins fine, there's no grinding on it or anything, so I don't have to play with this. Just wanted to point that out, because I did mention it before that I was going to take it off to look at it. Once I get this tranny out, I'll be back. Right, I got that transmission out. There it is. I'm going to clean this off before I do anything to it. I was able to leave the pulley on. A lot of times you have to take this pulley off to do anything, to change the belts or whatever, but I left the pulley on. As far as the brake, I left the brake on. There's a spring that goes here, and when I drop the transmission, I just wiggle it a little bit to get the spring out, and that's how I'm going to put it back in, maybe. We'll see, because I'm going to have to take this apart. Look at this. I'm going to have to take this brake off when I take it apart, and I may put it on before I put it together. I'm not sure. But this I'm going to take this out, wash it all down, and you can see there's some grease around here. Not a lot, but some grease did leak out of here. If I'm not mistaken, there's a grease that they use in here. I'll see when I open it up. It looks like a combination of oil and grease together. Pretty expensive if you go to the website and buy it. But I bought a couple of containers from Tractor Supply. It's called 00 grease. And it looks like an oil grease combination. If that's what they use in here, I'm in business. If not, I'm going to have to order what they recommend. But once I clean this off and pull it apart, I'll show you what's on the inside. I gave this just a quick rinse to get the heavy grease off it. Not sure if I'm going to get this to work. I don't know what I'm going to find when I open it up. But I did notice all along the seams, there's a lot of grease. So the grease was leaking out. Maybe it was overheating. Don't know. I don't see a fan on this. The Craftsman tractors, they usually have a fan. As the pulley's turning, there'll be a fan to cool the transmission down. This one doesn't have one. And again, a lot of grease all the way around. So I'm going to scrape this down a little bit more along the seams, because when I open it up, I might just have to add grease to it. I might have to clean it out altogether. And if I just have to add grease to it, I don't want anything falling into it. I mentioned earlier, I didn't take the brake off. So I'm going to take the brake apart now. And when I take it apart, I try to video this so you can see what this is like. So we have that. Turn this over. This would be the way the transmission sits. This would be the back of the tractor. That'd be the front of the tractor. Bottom here, there's really not too much to it. Just have to check when I take these bolts out if they're all the same size, because this is cast aluminum. If you put it in, it's a little too long, you will crack it. This is where the lever gets attached to put it in neutral, forward, or reverse. And now I'm going to wrap this up. It's getting pretty cold over here with the garage. I have to keep the garage door open. Going to button this up now. I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. This was taking it out. Tomorrow I'll be working on opening this up, finding out what we have, seeing what has to be replaced, and whether I'm going to put this back together or trashing it out. I did find out on this tractor, it was sitting all winter. One of the deck spindles is frozen. I don't know what the issue is with that. And I might have a head gasket problem with it to boot. Those will be different videos altogether. But the next video will be opening this transmission up, looking inside, seeing what has to be done, and we'll take it from there. And the reason I'm doing the 2 videos, this could get kind of long. So this first video is just taking the transmission out. The next video will be working on it. If after watching how to take this transmission apart, you decide you don't want to go forward with it and you're not going to watch a second video, if you enjoyed this video or have any questions, let me know by posting your comments down below. And if you would, give it a like. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And be sure to hit that notification bell not to miss my new videos as I upload them. Until next time, everyone, stay safe.